Oh, different music today. Stomping
like
away
that.
here at the news desk on Drum Talk TV. Dan Shinder, John Kinsting. How you doing, John?
Doing well, doing well.
Great. Let's take a look at what we've got going on in the news desk report. If you're new to this series that we do every Friday, folks, we talk about recent passings. Unfortunately, we have to report that and we want to honor them. Of course, we talk about what's been going on Drum Talk TV and Drum Talk TV Brilliance, our membership site, and this date in music history. And at the very end, an icebreaker question that this time it's my turn to throw to John. I got to think of something real quick. And it's your chance to answer as well, folks. So first, let's start with this. On May 5th, recently, that was this past Monday, as we're broadcasting live, James Baker, the prolific Australian drummer who was best known as the member of the Hoodoo Gurus, Beasts of Bourbon, the Scientists. He passed away at age 71 after struggling with cancer for a while. Very sad.
Very sad. Next day, May 6th, Nathan Yurdy, and I might be mispronouncing that. It's either Yurdy or Jurdy, the drummer of Chicago indie rock band The Ponies, passed away at age 50. No cause of death reported last we checked.
We'll follow that and let you folks know.
I should mention that he was also a member of a greatest named group ever, the Meshuggahs.
Oh, was he?
Yes.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
Oh,
yeah, that's Yiddish for crazy, for those who don't know.
I got that.
It was one of my mother's favorite words. Not sure why. Was it my dad, myself, or my sister? I think it was my sister. All right. Very young, sad passing. This day in music, 2003, May, what is it already? The 9th? Oh my gosh. The Eagles trimmed to a 4-man lineup with Korn Frey, Don Henley, Joe Walsh, and Timothy B. Schmidt after parting ways with Don Felder. That was that long ago? That's crazy. They started their farewell tour in Richmond, Virginia. The title, a mocking reference to many farewell tours that aren't really farewell tours. They played 168 dates on the tour over 3 years. Wow. What a booking.
Yeah. I like the name Farewell One Tour.
Yeah.
Farewell One. It leads to the Farewell Final Tour.
Yeah, thanks for correcting me on that. I missed that.
There you go.
Farewell One Tour. That's great.
1992, and I'm struggling with this date. I can't believe 1992. Bruce Springsteen made his North American network television debut on Saturday Night Live with host Tom Hanks.
Wow. Time flies, man. 1987, Starship started a 4-week run at #1 on the UK singles charts, a song co-written by Albert Hammond and Diane Warren. Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now at 48. It made lead singer Grace Slick the oldest female to reach #1 on the UK charts, later broken by Cher's Believe in 1999, 12 years later.
Moving on, 1970. The Guess Who started.
I give up. Who?
Don't start that. Who's on second? Who's on first? Okay. The Guess Who started a 3-week run at #1 on the U.S. singles chart with American Woman. It was the group's 6th top 30 hit and only chart topper. This is interesting. The song was born by accident when guitarist Randy Bachman was playing a heavy riff on stage after he had broken a string. The other members joined in on the jam. A fan in the audience who had recorded the gig on tape presented it to the group after the show, and they developed it into a full song.
Talk about organic. That's cool.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. 1969, the year before that, the Beatles guitarist George Harrison's experimental album Electronic Sound was released on Zappo Records. The album was an experimental work comprising of 2 lengthy pieces performed on a Moog 3 series synthesizer. It was one of the first electronic albums by a rock musician made at the time when Moog was usually played by dedicated exponents of the technology, i.e., Rick Wakeman, Keith Emerson, etc.
I've got to ask the question, Zapple Records, was that an obvious adjunct of Apple Records?
I don't know. That's a great question. I wonder if, let's see. So that was 69. I don't think Frank would have had a label by then.
Oh, I didn't
yeah,
even
no.
make that connection. Huh.
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought of when you asked. So I
Yeah.
don't know. That's interesting. What a
Okay.
neat name, though. Zapple.
Zapple, good name. It's like a drink. Let's have
Yeah,
some
I was just
Zapple.
thinking that Zapple flavor.
Zapple is like when you're a teenager and you get your first apple wine. Oh, this was Zapple. Taste
Boone's
off.
Farm in a Boda bag at the Renaissance Fair.
Oh my God.
I've heard. I've heard.
All right. 1964, Chuck Berry began his first ever UK tour at the Astoria Theatre in London, supported by the Animals, the Swinging Blue Jeans, Carl Denver, and the Nashville Teens.
Wow, 1964. I was 1 year old and playing with my belly button. I think it was my belly button. Anyway,
let's see. I was 14 and playing with my belly button.
Come on, you were like 34. Just kidding. John was writing love letters to Carol on papyrus.
There you go.
Yeah, Drum Talk TV related stuff. Let's start with this. From now, like right now, as this is being broadcast live on Friday, May 9th, from now until May 12th, Mother's Day weekend in the U.S., recently or as well, Mother's Day weekend in Mexico and other places around the world, May 12th, 11:59 Pacific time, we're running out the mother of all markdowns sale on drumtalktvbrilliance.com. Here's how it works. You can use the code DTTVMOM at checkout for our premium membership. Steve is going to put this in the comments as well, and get access to all sorts of things, including the fan Q&A sessions with big artists, producers, and record executives, even archived ones that we've already done, so you're not missing anything. We actually had one of the Gentle Giant, we actually had one with drummer John Weathers of Gentle Giant last Sunday, and it was an amazing conversation. Oh my gosh, true story. And 10 days or something like that before that, we had Derek Shulman of Gentle Giant, who went on to be one of the biggest record executives ever. That's your chance to have intimate conversations in an intimate setting within our membership site if you become a premium member. So while the price is normally $12 a month or $120 a year, the code allows you to describe. I'm describing it for free, but you could subscribe for only $5 a month or $50 a year. And I'll show a video in a bit about the membership site, but we'll keep it moving for now.
It's a good deal. And I will say every weekend is Mother's Day. Okay.
Aww. Yeah.
That's
some mother
reaction
out there is saying, why just the weekends?
yeah, weekend. Okay, over at Drum Talk TV Brilliance, we're running 2 drumming challenges through all of May until the 31st at 11:59 p.m. Pacific. One is the Gavin Harrison Drumming Challenge, and he's played with Porcupine Tree, Pineapple Thief, King Crimson, and many more. We also have the Physical Graffiti Drumming Challenge, where people can play along to tracks from the 50-year-old classic Led Zeppelin album. Premium members of DrumTalkTVBrilliance.com can send in more submissions for our play-along contests, whereas people accessing the free showcase can only submit up to 2 play-along videos.
Still not a bad deal. We'd love to have you.
Not a bad deal. And, I should say, next time I read this, I should say www.drumtalktvbrilliance.com. That's how it used to be.
There you go. Let's go to this knucklehead in our other studio to tell you about these. Hey, everybody. Dan here with yet another Drum Talk TV Brilliance Challenge honoring a legendary drummer. This drummer happens to be probably one of the most frequent flyers on Drum Talk TV as far as interviews go, probably in the top 3 or 4 at the most of how many times he's been on the show. That's Gavin Harrison. So now you can submit videos playing to Gavin's officially released music, not bootlegs, and they will not get muted or thwarted or snagged or tagged or anything like that. So think about all the great music he's played on Porcupine Tree, King Crimson, Renaissance, The Pineapple Thief, Backfield, Incognito. So here's how it works as far as grading. We grade 50% of your score is based on accuracy. How accurately are you playing what's being played on the track you're playing to? Number 2, fan praise. It's a new category. You can invite your friends to vote for you. All they gotta do is type vote in the comment section of your video. That is 30% of your vote. That's a lot of weight right there, or your score, of your score. And then lastly, but not leastly, sound. How much you matching the sound of the drummer you're emulating, and in this case, that would be Gavin Harrison, but the sound on that recording, not just in general, but of the song you are performing to. And that's another 20%. So check out the instructions in detail. And if you're a free member, you're welcome. You can submit 2 videos. If you're a premium member, which is only $12 a month, you could submit as many videos as you want. So it increases your chances. So have fun with that. Can't wait to see what's up. It goes through the entire month of May through May 31st, 11:59 Pacific time, PM that is. That's the last moment you have to submit. We're looking forward to seeing what you have. Thanks. And before I show the promo for the other challenge we have going concurrently at the same time, here's a note from our producer answering the question. Apple Records, an Apple Records subsidiary run by Barry Miles. There you go. Now we know. And I'm going to pick someone to give a shout out to. Here's Mark in Miami. Hey, Mark Wolosh, and
Hey,
I'm pronouncing your name right, in Miami. I'm pretty sure that's, well, I shouldn't be sure. I have no idea. Either Miami, Florida, or could be Miami, Arizona, which is 15 minutes from where I live in Globe, Arizona, in the mountains east of, what's that city called? Phoenix.
I think there's a Miami in Ohio?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Do you know why the Simpsons are based in Springfield?
Colorado. No,
I heard the reason is because there's a Springfield in every 50 of our states. So it made it as generic as possible. That's what I heard. I'll have to look that
wow.
up.
It's like Main Street. Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, exactly. So Mark, thanks for being one to chime in. And we also have this promo here, another knucklehead. Let's go to that studio right back there. Hey everybody, Dan here to announce yet a second challenge going on here in May in Drum Talk TV Brilliance, our membership site. It's a very special month. This month we not only have the Gavin Harrison drumming challenge for all you proggies, but to celebrate and honor John Bonham's birthday, which is May 31st, for the entire month, we're also running a physical graffiti drumming challenge, being that 2025 is the 50th anniversary year of this legendary album with legendary music put together by 4 legendary musicians. So here's how it works. Free member, premium member. If you're a free member, you can submit up to 2 videos. Not bad. If you're a premium member, it's only $12 a month. Come on, join. But if you're a premium member, you can submit as many videos as you want. There's so much great music on this double album. And other than Braun Urar, I mean, I think you pretty much play to anything on the drums, right? And here's how the grading works. So accuracy and how accurately are you playing the drums to what John Bonham is playing. That's 50% of your score. 30% of your score is your peeps. You got peeps, right? You got people, you got fans, you got followers, you got friends, you got family. Reach out to them, direct them to where your video is posted in the Brilliant site after it's been posted, and they can comment the word vote, and all those votes go towards 30% of the weight of your score. That's a lot. Thirdly, but not lastly, is sound. This is the tricky part, especially with John Bonham. How much are you matching the sound to the song you're recording. So think of the Wonton song. Think of Trampled Underfoot. Think of In My Time of Dying, and really dial in that drum sound, not just the tuning, but that fat snare, the bass drum, the toms tuned to match. Nail that sound, because sometimes that's where people fall a little short. They play great, but they don't quite get the sound. We're looking for you to emulate it as much as possible. So this is through the entire month of May, all the way up through 11:59 Pacific Time PM on the 31st, John's birthday. Thank you. Can't wait to see what you're submitting. I might even throw a few videos in there just for fun. I don't qualify. And hopefully you'll say, I can do better than that. And you'll submit your videos, right? Let's see what you got. Caught me mid-fill. Yeah, we'd love to see your videos for this, and I am going to record some for that.
It's great.
Awesome.
So I'm curious, Dan.
Yeah.
Are you the only judge, or is there like a panel?
Am I the only what?
Judge of who
Judge.
wins?
Oh, no. I don't want that responsibility. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. There are some, since you opened that can of worms, I should answer and not be rude. There are some high-level artists that participate, and they're not watching. So I'll say sometimes they're weenies, and they know I'm joking if they're watching, and they don't want to hurt anyone's feelings and let people know that maybe they didn't vote for them or something like that.
Oh,
when I first learned this, actually a few years ago, when we started doing other contests, the first person said something like that. I was like, really?
Yeah.
And then like the next 4 people said that. I said, well, I got to recruit people. So I'm just going to, okay, we'll keep you anonymous, whatever. So out of respect, we will keep those weenies. Let's keep those people anonymous until someone, and we're reaching out to different people all the time. And I have a list.
Yeah, good.
And
I just wondered if you were the sole.
Yeah. No, I don't want that responsibility. It's too much work and too much burden. Yeah.
Okay.
I want to let a cat out of the bag, and I might get in trouble for this. Well, only if I screw it up and don't follow through. So I'll let the cat out of the bag because this will help me follow through.
Wow.
So May 20th, as you know, 2 years ago, we had the Drum Talk TV 10-year anniversary show. You were there in Las Vegas.
There. It was so much fun.
Cool. And the show culminated with my old band from the late 70s, early 80s playing 90 minutes of nothing but Led Zeppelin music. And we had a guest vocalist. We had Chaz West on vocals. I think Steven's cringing already because I think he knows what's coming. He's all, you better do this if you're going to say it. And I am. I've blocked out time on my calendar.
Yeah.
I'm going to finish mixing the other songs, which is all but 3 of them that have not been released since then. I'm going to finish mixing the audio and cutting in the 4th and 5th camera. And on May 31st, John Bonham Day, that's his birthday, we're going to release the songs individually leading up to that. But on that day, we'll release a few. But on that day, we'll let the whole show run live and have a watch party right here in honor of John Bonham and celebrating 50 years of physical graffiti, because we did play the Wonton song. In fact, fun fact, hold on. Whoops, I just spilled a martini glass full of, not vodka, full of little thumb drives. I still have the beater that broke the moment we started the Wonton song, and it just absolutely literally, so the beater was, so if he can do this, it was shaped roughly like this. And I started the song and the 2 pieces just split off in half.
You know what? That
I
could be
frame this.
It could be a sign from the heavens
To get a new beater, or what?
It could be a sign from the heavens.
Well, if there's going to be a song you lay into on the bass drum, the Wonton song is definitely on that list. And so it literally broke on the second time I hit the bass drum, and I'm like, oh no, just this metal part was hitting the head. So all these things are running through my mind. Do we have an extra head? It's a 26-inch bass drum. green sparkle kit like John's.
Yep.
And then I remembered we had an extra pedal. So we didn't change out the pedal. We just changed the beater right after that song. But I finished playing the song with that. And maybe we'll post that soon and reference, the story.
Yeah.
But anyhow, there you go. Anything can happen. You got to be prepared, right?
Yep. Luckily, you didn't break the bass drum head.
Exactly. That's really what I was worried about, because the time it would have taken for that. Anyhow, next Drum Talk TV Brilliance game show will be Tuesday, May 22nd at 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern. And it's a game we call Majority Rules. It's a little different from the trivia game. And the theme is interesting facts about female drummers and other musicians. And not just interesting facts, but you have to score points. You have to be in the majority of what people would vote for. So for instance, would you rather see Cher, Avril Lavigne, Lady Gaga, or Janis Joplin? And you have to guess, like kind of eyeball your audience, who else is there. It's all online. And maybe it's an age thing sometimes. So if they're all my age or older in their 60s or 80s like John, just kidding, John. Then maybe you think, okay, probably Janis Joplin. So the quicker you vote and the more you're in the majority, the more points you get. It's a lot of fun. And in fact, there's a clip from that show that's in this promo I'm going to show right now. Check this out, folks. Watch for the clip. Majority Rules. When she says game show, when Anja says the game show, check it out.
And now we are inviting everyone to join us in our new membership site for exclusive live streamed concerts, round table Q&As with big artists, and not just drummers, all in virtual environments. No goggles required. And so many more experiences. And here's a peek at one of our live stream game shows.
Here it is what it looks like. Totally scrambled the leaderboard, right? All right.
Winners can win prizes, and each year we will host a live in-person event with our competition of champions, who at some point has not been moved by music. Oh man, everybody here has seen someone that's walking in their truth. And that's Dan and so many of our fans and artists from all over the world. So join this exclusive community. Come share your brilliance and admire the brilliance of others.
There we go.
There you are.
The video kind of pooped out at the end.
All right. This past week, Dan has been busy as a beaver. He's interviewed the Flower Kings drummer Mirko de Mayo last Saturday. On Monday, he and Steven interviewed Yes bassist Billy Sherwood over on Yes Shift about his solo tour that's happening on the East Coast right now. And yesterday, he interviewed M.B. Gordy. I caught part of that. Very interesting.
Thanks.
He's done a lot of film, TV, and video game music and worked with many artists.
Yeah. We have a lot of drummers and percussionists watching. Let's give Mr. Gordy a shout out by showing this quick 31-second video. Check this out, folks, and tell us how many of these toys or contraptions you have.
Most of the percussionists that I know collect instruments as we find them. I think it just happens with the nature of what we do. You find a new sound, you go, oh, I could use that, even if you only use it one time. I've got a ton of instruments now that I might have used once in the last 3 or 4 years, you know what I mean? But it's just what you do, It's sort of my addiction.
Very cool. Fun stuff. That giant tongue drum on top of a 50-gallon. That was just so cool.
All right.
Next, we have, looking ahead at next week, I'm interviewing Terry Morton on Tuesday. I've known Terry a long time, May 13th, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. And Terry is the creator of an amazing, I don't want to give it all away, an amazing, and I don't throw that word around a lot, an amazing way of miking your kick drum or bass drum, as us older folk call it.
Ooh.
You see this. It is so cool. You folks will love it, especially if you're at all an audiophile or techie. Shout out to Philip Gelb. You better be joining us. Yeah, so excited about that. And then Lou Calderola and myself are doing our regular series once a month, Under the Influence episode, Wednesday the 14th at 10 a.m. Pacific. So that would be 1 p.m. Eastern and 6 p.m. UK, I think. Wow, that was all off the top of my head. Hope I got it right. The theme being women drummers on Thursday. People are already calling. And then the 15th, I've got A to Z drummer Mark Zonder at 12 p.m. Pacific, and then Kenny Sprague of Radius Drums to tell a great story about an entrepreneur who used to do other things that you'll find out about. And then he made basses and guitars. He thought, wait a minute, I'm a drummer. Why don't I make drums? And we interviewed him on the showroom floor at the Las Vegas Drum Show last March 30th. And I wanted to have him on to tell more of his story. It's very inspiring. And that's at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. And that is on the 12th. Also, 2 interviews in one day. Hey, double header. You never know. Can the old guy hold up? We'll see.
You're going to be busy.
And then music news. We're going to kick it off to music news. John, we got all kinds of stuff here. The end of last week, Primus released their first song featuring drummer John Hoffman titled Little Lord Fentanyl. There's a link there. I don't think I can play that though. No, I can't play that. It'll get snagged, but maybe I'll drop it in the comments. Check this out, folks. Here's a little treat for you, but do me a favor. Don't go watch it yet. Hang out here with us first. Let John and I finish, and then go check this out from Primus featuring their new awesome drummer, John Hoffman. Over to you, John.
Okay. If you need the link, it's https://
It's in the comments. It's in the comments.
All right. Fieldy, former bassist of Korn up until 2021, when he wanted to focus on getting bad habits out of his system, appeared on a new episode of Dr. Green Thumb podcast. When asked if he'd be playing with Korn in the future, he said, "I won't be playing any shows, but we'll see what tomorrow brings. You never know, but for now, no." He also said he doesn't listen too much metal these days, but listens to a lot of different musical genres.
Wishing him the best. What's that?
I wonder what those are.
Yeah, I'd like to know. Maybe we'll go ahead and have him on.
There you go.
Saturday, Lady Gaga broke the record for the highest attended concert by a female artist when over 2 million people attended her concert in Copacabana Beach in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. On Saturday, civil police they arrested 2 people who were trying to recruit people to carry out a coordinated attack against LGBTQ people at the concert. A third person who was planning on doing a violent ritual at the concert was charged with offenses. The police said the suspects were part of an online hate group trying to radicalize young people. In light of the threat, Lady Gaga's team worked closely with law enforcement throughout the planning and execution of the concert, and it was done with discretion as to not cause a massive panic. Yeah, I heard one of those things to be carried out was like a bombing or something. That's just crazy. You know, I just don't understand. I don't want to open this can of words. Never mind.
Just go to the concert.
I'll say it.
Enjoy the show. I don't
understand why people have to hate people that are not like them or don't have the same. I just am so fucking sick and tired of it. And to go to that extent at a concert like that to actually hurt, I just don't get it. Sorry. Had to get that off my chest.
No, I'm glad you did. I have similar thoughts. Yeah. Okay. We were at Lady Gaga. Yep. Sorry about that, folks. Monday, May 6th, former Van Halen vocalist David Lee Roth announced plans to tour this summer from July to September, beginning and ending in California. This news comes just days after he made his first appearance on the live stage in 5 years on Saturday, May 3rd, at the M3 Rock Festival in Maryland's Meriwether Post Pavilion. He had last played live in March 2020, after which he decided to retire, though now it looks like that wasn't permanent.
Right. We've heard that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from people who might have seen that or that see any of the tour. All of this comes after Van Halen member coverage, as Sammy Hagar mentioned in an interview that Alex Van Halen and Alex Van Halen has not spoken to him in 21 years and didn't mention him in his memoir, Brothers, which I listened to the audiobook of Alex narrating that, and I was very surprised. I knew something was up. That was a huge part of their career. And actually, the first time I saw Van Halen is when their first tour with Sammy. Hagar suspects Alex is upset that because he's not out touring like Hagar and Michael Anthony are. That's Alex's issue, though. I don't get it. He's heard others speculate perhaps some jealousy over the success of his restaurant in Cabo Wabo after the rest of the Van Halen band gave it up to Hagar, though he's not sure that's the reason. It's like, can I get something else off my chest?
Go ahead. Go for it.
This band drama BS never stops, no matter how old people get. I did some work with, I'm not going to say who, I did some work with some really, really famous artists together. Now everyone I've worked with is going to wonder, is he talking about me? I'll just say this happened in Arizona, and I couldn't believe some of the stuff that went on. It was like I was in a garage band rehearsal with teenagers. I just could not believe it. And I told my wife, I said, this shit never goes away. I'm glad I'm not in a band anymore. It's just crazy. At that age, all that success, and you're not going to mention Sammy because, like, what? I don't get it. Sorry. I had to get that off my chest.
Good.
That might be it for today, folks.
You're 2 for 2. All right. Soundgarden's lead guitarist, Kim.
Oh, let me talk to you about Kim. Okay, so just kidding.
Okay. This is third for you. Go ahead.
No, I'm kidding.
All right. Soundgarden's lead guitarist, Kim Thale, says there are still plans to release a final Pearl Jam album featuring the late Chris Cornell, vocalist and rhythm guitarist of the band, who died at age 52 in 2017. Kim says it would be a great gift to the fans. I do think about this, and I don't know how strange it sounds, but I feel like it's a gift to Chris too. Absolutely it is.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right? Honor him for sure. That'd be awesome. Yeah. Singer-songwriter Jake Holmes, who wrote and recorded Dazed and Confused in 1967, has a copyright infringement suit against Jimmy Page, which alleges that he has not received proper credit or royalties for early versions of Dazed and Confused performed with the Yardbirds, including a recording featured in the recent documentary Becoming Led Zeppelin. Holmes claims he sent a cease and desist to Page and the other defendants last month that got ignored. My thoughts on that? I don't know, but there's more to this story. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think opinion matters in a case like that. The truth is the truth, and who are we to decide, what it is? But allegedly, Page heard Holmes perform the tune in August of 67, and then the Yardbirds worked their own version of the song, which they began to incorporate into their live performances. The Yardbirds made no studio version of Dazed and Confused, though there are several live recordings, and I have a few on rare LPs, actually, by the way, that feature Jeff Beck and Eric Clapton and Jimmy at the Yardbirds at different times. Yeah, but anyways, there's several live versions. Page went on to rework the song for Led Zeppelin with some changes. Holmes let it slide for a while until what? Someone got in his ear, until he decided to file a suit over Led Zeppelin's version in 2010. And that particular case was settled out of court, with the Led Zeppelin version being credited as inspired by Jake Holmes. He now says he hasn't received royalties for archival Yardbirds releases of Dazed and Confused, alleging they're falsely credited to Page. Furthermore, he did rework it, but it would be nice if Chris got credit if indeed it's his original piece. Furthermore, Holmes argues that in Becoming Led Zeppelin, Dazed and Confused is properly credited as written by Jimmy Page, inspired by Jake Holmes, but the version by the Yardbirds is credited only as written by Jimmy Page. That whole thing was a tongue twister. We'll have to see how that plays out.
Exactly. The voice cast for the upcoming 3D animated film based on Sir Paul McCartney's 2005 children's book, High in the Clouds, will include Celine Dion, Lionel Richie, Ringo Starr, I think I've heard of him, and others. The story follows teenage squirrels' world's journey to set music free after accidentally sparks a revolution against Gretsch, the bossy diva owl who has banned all music from this town.
That's weird that they
It is
named the
very
villain after a musical instrument brand. I wonder what the beef is there, Paul.
Yeah,
That's weird, right?
yeah.
I want to
have
know
to
that
check
story.
out the book. I had no idea he wrote a children's book.
Yeah.
High in the Clouds.
And of course, he's including all those artists so that the parents and grandparents will run out and get the book.
You betcha.
Yeah. Iron Maiden's Adrian Smith, this is really interesting, said in an interview with AMFM magazine, quote, being in a band that is a tiny percentage of people in a successful band making money. Even bands now who've got hit records are struggling to make money because nobody buys bloody records anymore. And the money is light. So it's very, very difficult. But I suppose it's process, and the process just kind of makes or breaks the ones that stay with it. You almost have to have a sponsor as well because it costs money to put a band out there. In the old days, a record company would sponsor a band and advance some money until they start making money. It's difficult, but if you're going to do it, then nothing will stop you, I guess. Interesting. Things have changed a long time ago. There's no big fat guy with a cigar and a stack of record contracts looking at bands and clubs anymore, you know?
There you go. Well, yeah, I think back, if we're going to think back on the olden days, I think, my God, when I was in my 20s, I worked every weekend. And I lived in a little podunk town that I still live in.
Yeah.
And I worked all the time. Big, huge bands too. 8, 10 people. Yeah. There were jobs.
By the way, folks, you know why John is still in that podunk town decades later? It's because he has to stay within where the ankle bracelet can be monitored.
Exactly. I get an exemption for after 6 o'clock. All right. On May 7th, Brad Arnold of Three Doors Down announced that he had been diagnosed with stage 4 clear cell renal carcinoma, which has metastasized to his lung. Understandably, the band have canceled their upcoming summer tour. Despite the news, Brad says, I have no fear.
It's a very touching video too. Yeah, saw that. Very touching. Yesterday, The Who announced the Song Is Over North American Farewell Tour. I don't know why I have trouble with that word. North American Farewell Tour, their 14th farewell tour, if I'm counting. Daltrey and Townsend expressed their appreciation for America and Canadian audiences over the years and say this will be a fitting farewell. So there you go. Icebreaker time. So, John.
Yes.
I know you've mentioned, and this is for everybody else out there. Let me check comments real quick. Animated film comes out in 2027, apparently. Oh, really? About that Paul's book? That's interesting.
Oh, that's cool.
Hey, Rivik Jones, thanks for chiming in. I know you've tinkled a little bit on piano. I got a piano a while back. And
I try not to tinkle on it. I try to go to the bathroom first. And then
well, if you could play any piece on piano, what would it be? If you could masterfully just sit down and just crank out any piece, what would it be? And this goes to all of you out there in the audience as well. Whether you play piano or not, whether you're a musician or not, if you could just sit down and play any song on piano, a grand piano with the lid up, what would it be?
Of course. Is the piano made out of like crystal, or is it just like a wood piano? Okay.
What's it called? zirconian. Yeah, that's all we can afford.
Cubic
zirconian. Yeah. Cubic.
Okay. I had yes. Thank you for bringing up my piano interest. I won't say skill. And yes, if I could play any song, I would go to the Scott Joplin live collection of songs, and pretty much, well, we'll say The Entertainer, but I'm going to say pretty much any fast Scott Joplin song where you have the left hand stride piano. That's tricky to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine's a toss up. One's a real deep cut. Mine's a toss up between especially the intro to Awaken with Rick Wakeman playing the intro. You know, that's just such a beautiful piece. We had Chris Clark on recently of John Anderson and the Band Geeks, and Chris playing Awaken on the DVD is just so beautiful. And Steve and I also saw him in concert together, and then Steve saw them again. But my other one would be the piano section right before the electric violin section of the UK song. I'm thinking it through. I have to think backwards because I can only think from the piano solo from the beginning. Damn. I can't think of it, so we'll leave that one out. But it's on the second UK album with just Wetton, Jobson, and Terry Bozzio on drums. And it's a really neat, just climbing scale. And then the band comes in. How does it go? Is it Danger Money? Maybe it is the title track, Danger Money, actually, now that I think of it.
There you go.
It is. It is. It's Danger Money because it ends with the beginning of the song. Whew, I'm glad I thought of that, or I would have woken up yelling it in the middle of the night. Hey, it's Danger Money. And you would have been like, what?
Doesn't count. Doesn't count.
Yeah. Check that out, folks. Beautiful piano part
cool.
by both gentlemen. That would be mine.
I will say for the drummers out there, if you haven't thought about picking up another instrument, okay, piano is great and it's so humbling. You know, you think like, oh man, I'm this hotshot drummer, but that's all I am. I'm going to be a hotshot piano player in another 30 years.
That's funny. Folks, I just want to also draw your attention to the ticker right down there. There it goes. Oh, here it comes again. And it's going to give you info on how to join our membership site. And we have a big special right now, only $5 a month. And you get to talk to people like Derek Shulman, John Weathers, Rudy Sarzo, so many other awesome artists. Ron Riddle, so many awesome, Oliver Wakeman, Aaron Emerson. I mean, so many awesome artists, and we're booking more. So join us in the membership site. Join the game shows for a chance to win $50 prize package or more. And we'll see you there. And you'll see myself with a special guest because John gets to take the ankle bracelet off next week, and he won't be with me for the news desk report.
They're letting me out. They're letting
him out for a bit. Or Carol's letting you out for a bit. He's like, get out, get out. So we will see you soon with more fun stuff in the meantime. So thanks, everybody. Take care. We'll see you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Absolutely. We are out. We are leaving, and we'll see you soon.